Hello and welcome to Mad About Sports for this very special live. Obviously, we're just 50 minutes away from the first ball being bowled in a World Cup final. And obviously, we have Team India there taking on Australia. What a big day. Our Antriksh and Sai joining me here to talk about it and let us you know, go in depth about how this game is going to play out. Welcome, Antriksh and Sai. Welcome to Antriksh first up. And what a moment and how nervous are you today just heading into this game?
Oh my God, Abel, we started, you were obviously there before, but we started streaming together and we've been, I just keep remembering those rants of ours, right? What is the Indian team? Rahul Dravid kuch nahi aata, inko kuch nahi aata, they don't have a plan. Rishabh Pant, tragedy, and we're done. And so, ye isko injury hai, isko le liya. How can you pick Rahul? Should you everything just goes away now. In the final, everything has led to that probably. But it's a surreal feeling. Of course, we all have witnessed, like the three of us have witnessed 2011. But as we suppose, like, come on, bache the yaar. This is our first proper final, wherein we know everything. We'd be hurt 10 times more than 2011 if we lost, and we'd celebrate 10 times more than 2011 because now it's like our first World Cup final, truly. So
Yeah.
very nervous, yeah, very nervous, very nervous.
Absolutely. Sai, such a big game. How do you see this for a final? Because if India would have wanted to pick two toughest teams to beat in a final, it would have been a strong English white ball team or an Australian team who are 5 times champions. India couldn't have gotten any tougher test than this in a final, right?
Yeah, man, absolutely. Because it's our time to be honest, right? Because this is the day we all are waiting for. That India playing in the finals, and Rohit Sharma will lift the trophy around 10:11 p.m. Right? So yes, this is the kind of day we dreamt of mainly, and we were waiting for this day. And to be honest, this was the opponent we were expecting. Apart from these two, England and Australia, and here we have. If we beat Australia today, then it will be a World Cup for us because they are 5 times champion, right? And there is nothing better than this day that we beat the 5 time champion in the final at home itself.
Yeah, I agree with you. I agree. There's nothing better than that. But to start off with Antariksh, I have a good news to start off with, a good stat rather. Rohit Sharma has never lost a white ball final in his career, and especially against a yellow dawning team. Now, Rohit Sharma's record in white ball finals is imperious. And he's a captain who's been there, done it in big occasions, big finals, in front of big crowds. It's not like it's his first final. So I think, does that really help in a final like this for Rohit Sharma and co?
I mean, it has to help. It has to help. If nothing, like it has to give him the confidence as a captain to, yeah, like you've been there, you've done it. You just keep going into a final. You don't know what's losing in a final, and hopefully that continues. And one thing that he really showed in that last game, right, in terms of when he stepped out to bat, he was not fearless. So as Nasser Hussain was saying right the other day, that it's one thing to say and play fearless cricket when you're in the group stage and maybe you have 10 games, 9 games to showcase that. But it's another when it's a do or die knockout game, a World Cup semi final, you'll still do that. And he did that. He smacked Trent Bolt onto the offside and to the leg side twice in like 2-3 overs. So he did that and he set the tone. In terms of his captaincy, he knew that he knew his limitations, that we are playing with only 5 bowlers, and as the game goes on, the required rate would climb up, and he wouldn't want to have Kuldeep Yadav and Ravindra Jadeja bowling much in post the 35th over mark. So while they were conceding runs, he knew that he had the likes of Shami, who were wicket takers, and Bumrah, who are sort of run, if nothing, runs do dry when he comes up. So like I as a spectator, like after 5-6 over spells of each from the spinners, I went like, no, let's change it, let's go for a wicket. But he knew very well that he needs to get at least 8 overs out of the board, out of the way, because we only have 5 bowlers. We have no option. So we wouldn't want to go into a stage wherein they have to bowl later. So great captaincy there. Has been a phenomenal captain. He has had good warriors in front of him in holding his back, like KL Rahul, judging him in every review call here and there. Like we could hear him say, "Arey, the umpire's call hoga lele." So into the stump mic. So it's wonderful. Let's hope that that record of yours, that stat of yours, continues today.
Absolutely. But aside, a final like this, we often talk about big players to step up. But when we talk about some young players, like Shubman Gill, like Iyer, these guys are coming into this final without any baggage. If you talk about other players, they played in these ICC tournaments, they've lost games. But Iyer or a Gill, especially Gill in Ahmedabad, is a thing of beauty. I mean, it's a better relationship than anything else. So a Gill in a game like this, and against Australia in a big game, he's going to be such a decisive factor. We're talking about a Rohit, we're talking about a Virat, we're talking about the Rahuls, talking about Bumrah, everybody. But a Gill is such an important factor in today's game because he's been there in these big occasions, in big finals, and is often delivered.
Yeah, I mean that's the youngsters have a chance today, kind of to explore the final and to kind of experience the pressure and the whole surrounding in a final, how it is for the freshers in terms of a youngster, right? So, but yeah, the one who will bat first today, both the openers will go explosive because if you put a target on a total around 270 to 80, then almost 50% of the game is done that you are on the winning side because in the finals it is almost kind of impossible to chase it down in the knockouts in the finals for any of the team. So I feel India is going to bat first if they won the toss. Then for sure they will go all out, both the openers, because Rohit has the trend. He always attack in the first 10 overs and he has the momentum with him. So same thing will happen with Shubman as well today because we know we do have our kind of a strengthened middle order ready to kind of take the momentum around the end of the overs. So they will go all out, and Shubman for sure he will try to kind of express himself in a bit better way because he have a chance today, and because he will go all out. Because to be honest, from a youngster, we don't expect much in the finals, and to be honest, in this kind of situations, that we mainly kind of uh, expect our experienced person or our experienced players to deliver a lot.
Yeah.
So he don't have that much of a kind of pressure that everyone is expecting from him. So he might be a surprise today.
Absolutely. But Antrik's talking about toss. Does toss really play a factor in today's game now? Sai is right when mentioned that India would want to bat first. But if you look Ahmedabad, under lights, it hasn't done a lot. And there's nothing in terms of data to say, okay, the batting second team has any disadvantage. The only disadvantage today would be the pressure of a final. But other than that, when it comes to cricketing reasons, just purely cricketing reasons or pitch and conditions, chasing has been quite easy in Ahmedabad. And I don't think a captain would mind losing a toss today. Unlike what you saw in semi-final that you wanted to bat first, I personally that is not there for today.
Yeah, I mean, if you purely talk about toss, you take out the surroundings. I think it's a much lesser impactive toss than Wankhede for us,
Yeah,
but it's the final at the same time. We started out the World Cup. I again remember we were quite a chase dominant team, and then now suddenly we switched for a couple of games, and since then we've been a team who've put up scores and then bowled out teams very cheaply. Now, seeing the sheer amount of games that we've done it for and the effectiveness that we've that with which we've done it, I wouldn't really want to touch that flow, right? I would want to stick with it if I had been given the option. So while according to the pitch conditions, it's not a very heavy toss to lose, but you add the stakes, you add the consistency for Team India. What they really would want to do, I think it's an important toss. It's not, again, I won't say a match decisive toss, but it's an important toss. Maybe if the team batting first, the ball could nip around here and there. Right now, we don't know how the ground is being prepared. If the grass, again, just like Wankhede, has been trimmed off. If it has been, then will dew make a factor, be a factor or not? Because that really alters the game here and there. So again, let's see, but let's hope we win the toss. Either way, we get to decide what we want to do.
yeah. Sometimes it's not bad to lose a toss in occasions like this because you are kind of indecisive as to what you want to really take. You want to bat first, you want to ball first, and you have you in mind. Sometimes losing a toss will give you a better clarity because ultimately, if it backfires, tomorrow the public is going to be behind you. You won the toss, and why did you choose this? You had an opportunity. Now, even 20 years down the line, people talk about sort of Ganguly bowling first in that final there. So that's what I'm talking about. But let's talk about a big factor for Australian team. Right? The Australian team hasn't been like the Australia of the past. They've got chinks in their armor. If you talk about the middle order, it's very brittle. It is not like a middle order of the past. You have a Steve Smith, you have a Marnus Labuschagne, who hasn't really done well in this World Cup particularly, and then you have this Australian team who have collapsed in multiple occasions. They are heavily reliant on their top three, which India aren't, and at the same time, they're opening left-handers, and that's where I think Shami versus openers are going to be a thing to watch today, isn't it?
Yeah, I mean, you can see on the screen about his Shami's figures against left-handers and right-handers on the screen. So he is more dominant on right-handers. Against left-handers, again, he is also a good pick because both the openers are left-handers, and he took a wicket in around 6 to 7 balls. After every 6 to 7 balls, he knocked down a left-hander in the whole tournament. He played only few games, not much as compared to other Indian pacers or other Indian bowlers, but still, he is in the top contender to win the kind of player of the tournament, maybe for the tournament. And again, on the right-handers, he is more dominant, right, in terms of
Yeah,
right-handers. Like we have in the opponent, we have Smith because he's a big match player, right, and we cannot kind of underestimate him, even though he's not performing well in the tournament for Australia in the whole kind of whole journey, whole group stage. He's not that much well performed, but it's knockout, and knockouts is all about pressure and experience. Australian team have it around, I guess, around 6 to 7 players are from the 2015 squad. I guess around 6 to 7 players. So they do know how to kind of win the finals and how to manage the pressure. And these players are Cummins are there, and Labuschagne, Smith, even though at the top of the order, Warner. So these players know how to handle the pressure. But again, on
right.
the other hand, Shami is there. If he is bowling in the power play with that seam, with that conditions, if it is in the second innings, then again the conditions will favor the bowlers a lot. So
Yeah.
yes, Shami will be kind of lethal in the first 10 overs.
Absolutely. I mean, one of the interesting facts in this World Cup, Antariksh, has been the way in which our openers have played. Now, if you look, the two best strike rates for opening pairs has been Australia and India at number two. I mean, both these pairs have really lit the stage, and especially if you talk about Travis and David Warner, they have really taken on the bowlers. Similarly with Rohit Sharma and Shubman as well. How do you see this being a very important factor? Two openers who like to play aggressively, want to take on the bowlers, and you reckon that's where the game is going to be really decided today, or if they fall, is it going to be the middle order who's going to decide the game today? I think you're mute, Antariksh.
Yeah, yeah. So as I was saying, as you could have seen in the stat, right? So three partnerships there, two are Australian opening partnerships, and the commonality between the two different nations have been that while the strike rate might depict as that of the whole partnership, but it's like David Warner for Australia and Rohit Sharma for India that have really put their foot on the pedal when things just get going, and they both like similar age profile, similar sort of I wouldn't compare the careers, but career trajectories wherein they were maybe kind of sort of ruled out as being the top performers. Like maybe the time is gone, the time is up, but they've just remoduled their game to maybe the highest extent. One is the captain of their nation, of course. So yeah, big pressure on them, but pressure is something that they've really not taken this World Cup. So that aside, but touching on that Australian point, right, Abel? So we talk about a lot in this in the footballing world about this. You're not playing well, but you still manage to get 3 points, and that for me, I mean, the Australia as a cricketing nation is a champion nation. Like I don't even remember one proper performance by Australia. Genuinely, even that victory against South Africa, they faltered. They just got over the line, but they are in the World Cup. They are probably living most of the nation's dream by not even being in the third, fourth gear, and that just tells me what kind of a cricketing nation they are. Yes, everyone, Pat Cummins says everyone ruled us out very early. That's because we don't remember one spectacular performance. We remember individual instances, the Maxwell 200, the Warner 170 here and there. We remember, but that's what Australia is, and that's why it reminds me. Of course, I did not watch that World Cup, but 2003, it was like India was the dominant force then, but Australia had these mega stars and sort of these dominant personalities who could shift the game ruthlessly, right? We have match winners as well, but they had some ruthlessness attached to them. and it just kind of reminds me of that, man. Travis Head, Labuschagne, Smith, they don't really fare me. What fares me is the Australian tag. उससे डरता हूं मैं सबसे ज्यादा. I don't consider Labuschagne, Head, Smith to be that good of ODI players. मतलब उतना मुझे नहीं लगता है जितना मुझे the whole Australian dominance
Yeah.
and
I mean,
suddenly.
they're not the status of a Hayden or a Gilchrist, right?
Yeah,
Travis Head
exactly.
can never be a Matthew Hayden. David Warner is
Exactly.
good, definitely, but a Labuschagne is not your Steve Waugh or a Damien
Yeah.
Martin to come and change the game on its head.
Mhm.
Or there is not a
Yeah,
Ricky Ponting and Steve Smith to come out there and play a knock like that. Okay, they're all
exactly.
good on their given days, but they don't fear you anymore, right? You're not feared by them, rather. Like,
Yeah.
oh my God, there's Steve Smith which you have to pick up, or he's going to take the game away. Glenn Maxwell is one factor, obviously. On a good day, Glenn Maxwell can turn the game. That's one factor. But Glenn Maxwell's head-to-head record matchups against Jadeja and Kuldeep both are pretty horrendous. So you know
Yeah.
that you have got, and against Bumrah as well. It's got a very poor matchup there. Yeah, coming to which side, matchups is such an important factor today. You think Hazelwood is going to be such a key bowler to tackle for India more than Stark, more than anyone else, because Hazelwood has been the bowler in form and he's been so consistent hitting that length on top of off, not giving anything away. Even against South Africa, he's the bowler who set the tone for them.
Yeah, I mean, he will be the bowler to look out for the Indian batters mainly. And to be honest, today I feel majorly for Kohli and Iyer, they have to be a bit careful against these fast bowlers, especially with Hazelwood, because he do have that ability to generate extra pace off the wicket. And to be honest, Iyer is in great form, right? But the quality of bowling, the quality of short balls he faced in the last couple of games, that wasn't that great because
Yeah.
against against New Zealand, there wasn't Matt Henry, to bowl that deadly bouncers. Against Netherlands, there wasn't any one who can bowl that kind of uh, around the chest and head area bouncers, right?
Yeah.
But in Australia, they do have the players, they do have the attack who can probably get the wicket early on of Iyer because they do have those deadly bounces. So for Iyer today, I have to be a bit careful. For Kohli again, Hazelwood have great stats against Kohli, so that
Yeah,
will be the factor today again. But yeah, if we get a start early on with Gill and with Rohit, then it won't be kind of a big worry because it will be neutralized if we survive first 10 overs. But yeah, if the thing happens again, like happened in the first game, two down or three down in the first 10 overs, then again we will not sure that can we again come over from that kind of a dream, because that bad dream was there, but we were lucky enough to come over in that phase due to the middle order. But we don't know how many times it will happen again, right? So that's the only thing I feel for Iyer and for Kohli, because they do have kind of not above the par stats against the quality pace attacks. Because Australian team, even though, as Antariksh said, that we don't remember any kind of remarkable performance from their team, but they do have those individuals. As a team, to be honest, yeah, we haven't kind of witnessed any kind of performance from the team as a team, but they do have some individuals. And due to that Maxwell's inning, we got to know that even a single person can win the game. You don't have to play as a team in this kind of phase, because nowadays ODI cricket is in such a phase where a single person or a single bowler, a single batter can win the game for the team.
absolutely. Arthur asked this few questions. How big a factor is Bumrah today? Antariksh,
Yeah.
Bumrah is such a big factor, and the last game he played in Ahmedabad against Pakistan, his spell in the middle overs was just fascinating to watch. And I think once again, Bumrah is going to be a massive factor for India if they ever go on to do well.
Oh, absolutely. And Bumrah is someone who, any phase of the game, the captain comes up and he relies on him. Unlike what someone like a South Africa do, they usually bowl out their 2 overs, 5-5 each for the power play, and then they bring their third seamer, Kagi Surabata, mostly in the 10th or the 11th over, something like that. But India, what India does is 2-3 overs with Bumrah at first, and then Shami bowls the rest of 2-3 overs of the remaining power play along with Siraj. So that his overs are conserved, Bumrah's, for maybe the middle overs if you want to take wickets, deep down the middle overs, or of course the end overs, right? Wherein wherein you need to restrict the run flow and also get some wickets. But so he's going to be very important. But I have two three things to quickly mention. So I was just reading here. The Crickbuzz app, it says in the last 12 World Cups, the teams that have won toss have won four finals, and the teams that have lost the toss have won eight times. And the pitch report, so that's one. So the pitch report by Ravi Shastri says that it's the pitch number five. It's the same wicket that was used for India Pakistan. It's a bit different from that one because it's been left open for quite a while. It looks patchy, not dry, but looks patchy, wherein the spinner area would sort of spin the ball a bit. Dew is obviously uncontrollable. There has been some trimming of the grass, not whole, but some bit of it. So I don't know what's the ideology behind that. But he says
Yeah.
India won't be bothered either way. And also, a very surprising thing that I just came across here. So Bumrah and Shami were marking their run-ups quite like since an hour or so. Siraj wasn't. So just now, there's been a last-minute call between Ashwin and Siraj has been picked. So of course it's the same 11, but it was a very sort of close call. So they were almost going with Ashwin there,
Okay,
but
I'm not sure of it.
no.
I think after toss we'll have a better idea if Ashwin is playing. And you know,
Yeah,
one thing about Rohit Sharma is that he's always had one tactical guy up the sleeve. Even if you look at IPL finals, you know, whenever they used to face Delhi Capitals, they always used to throw this giant Yadav because Delhi had a couple of left-handers. So I
yeah,
don't know if Ashwin is just an Australia to Australia player. If you remember the first game against Australia, he played the last game. I mean, it's not a bad option to go after Ashwin to give him the new ball as well because they like pace on the ball. You want to restrict it by bringing some bit of spin, and you saw when Aiden Markham came to ball as well. A very interesting points here. And it can can it be a day where India dominates Australia? Well,
absolutely.
we all love that, absolutely. Okay, Australia did I think immense collapse multiple times this year. Even in semis, they did collapse. Yeah, I mean it's been a trend with Australia, isn't it? Both Sai and Antariksh. I think you both take this up. Do you think Australia's that particular mentality of collapsing throughout this year? Even if you look at that semi-final, they got off to a brilliant start, but they collapsed. If not for that
Yeah,
start, that would have been a South Africa game, to be very honest. And in this year, it's not the first time they've done it. They, even against Afghanistan, they collapsed. Even multiple occasions, they have collapsed at a rate where it's very alarming for them. And in a day like this, they'll certainly have that behind their mind.
Yeah, I mean, it is a team, actually, as I said. So, Australia in this tournament, they hardly play as a team. Any one individual will come up and they will save them. In the last game against South Africa, it was the keeper English who mainly did it for them, right? Because we know that all the bowlers, all the batters, except Smith or to an extent Labuschagne, rest of them are kind of attacking batters, right? They will go behind the runs for sure. But it was before, I mean, it was below 50, I guess, when Cummins came on the crease. So below 50 target to chase, anyone can do it, to be honest. It was nothing special that captain chased it down for the team. Even if it was tailenders, any tailender can chase it down if it is below 50, right? So it wasn't any special from them. To be honest, it was one man, the keeper, who mainly did them for the game, and they win it. He win it mainly for them. So that's why it's all about a single man, to be honest. And for Australia today, I feel it will be again a single man, majorly in the bowling department or in the batting department. If it is in the batting department, it will be Head or any of between Head and Warner. Anyone from these two will play a inning, kind of a decisive inning, if they going for it. Otherwise, in the bowling department. So it will be a one man, to be honest. It won't be a whole team again today.
Right. No, when we talk about India as well, one of the major factors in this World Cup has been having KL Rahul at number five. I think he's done a
yeah.
very good job for India when it comes to covering all the bases. How once again, lose wickets, even if you had to give him that finishing role, he can do both, right? And that's given India a lot of security up top as well.
Absolutely. He has been, he's not been a find, but he's been a find in a way that, maybe a Suresh Raina was back in the day, right? You could put him up anywhere and he'd play exactly the role. He is one who could maybe take his time, but then put that foot on the aggressor as and when you want it. Like, he did not struggle exactly, but like he was again not even taking his time, but just was getting along the flow against New Zealand. But then when the time came in, he struck up 3, 4 boundaries, and boom, his strike rate was 180, 190, right? So he's that kind of a player.
So Australia won the toss. They're bowling first. That's a
Oh
big,
wow,
big decision. Australia won
oh
the
wow,
toss. They're bowling first. Does it remind you guys a little bit of 2003, guys?
2003. No,
Australia won the toss and they're bowling first. Exactly what happened in 2003. Or India won the toss.
exactly.
They put Australia to bat. Does it remind you anything? Is
That
it a
that's
good
what I'm
decision or a
saying.
bad one?
Like that is what I'm saying. Is this like as the internet streets have it? Is it Jesha speaking? Right. So who knows? Who knows? But let's see. Let's see.
But
But
do you think India
wow.
would
I
have
mean,
mind? Would India mind even winning,
not at
losing this
all.
toss? Because I think India would have wanted to bat first either way.
Not at all. The conviction with which Australia is taken up to bowl first is worrying. That's it. Otherwise, if you would have given us to bat, whether we win the toss or lose, we would have taken it. So wow,
But
it's a big.
I think one of the reasons could be due, obviously, and given the fact that it's an easy to chase ground in Ahmedabad. But once again, as Sai, you would have said this a few minutes ago that anything except 320 in a final is hard to chase.
Yeah, I mean that's pretty. Don't know what they have in the strategy and what are they looking for mainly. Maybe
And
they are going to chase
just
it
to
down.
complete this side, Rohit Sharma says he would have batted first either way. So he's
Yeah,
got what he wanted.
yeah. I mean that's how we all were expecting because
Maybe they
let's
are
imagine
chasing,
that we
and
have
it's their strength. It's their strength to chase. Maybe
yeah,
who knows?
yeah. Actually, they're expecting that Maxwell will come again and they will do the same thing for him. So to be honest, let's imagine if we try to achieve around 270 to 80, then what do you think? They will chase it down? Not, not possible to be honest.
Yeah, I agree with you. I mean, it's very interesting because we just spoke about collapse and everything. I just expect the Australian team to bat first because chasing has been an Achilles heel this year completely for Australia, and
Hmm.
now you think they've shot in their foot. I don't want to jump the gun already, but do you really feel that?
And I don't know, man. Let's see. I'm that scared. I'm that skeptical of a fan that Australia hai kuch soch ke kya hoga. That's my approach towards this because I don't know. Maybe
Like,
it's due.
you can
Maybe
say
they think that.
Australia here, but then India also wanted to bat first.
Yeah, again, that's what I'm saying. Like, as a fan, you'd be happy. So, like, I actually would have wanted India to win the toss and to choose bat rather than Australia winning the toss and choosing to bowl. So that's the
I
skeptic,
told
right?
you it's not a bad toss to lose. It's
Yeah,
often so good in a finals to lose a toss because what happens is when you win the toss and you make the wrong decision, always behind your
you
mind
have
would
that
move.
pressure.
Now,
Yeah,
what is the right target? Now you've lost the toss, right? Now you're fearless. That was in a final like the offense. I think last three World Cups, all the captains who won the toss have lost the match. Let's be very honest. 2011 World Cup, Sri
yes,
Lanka won the toss. 2015, New Zealand won the toss. 2019, I don't want to say it was a big factor to that tied game, but then New Zealand did win the toss there. So I don't think it really matters in a final who wins. That kind of toss being a big factor. I think it really
yeah.
relieves the pressure. It makes you go play more fearlessly, is my opinion. I don't know. What do you guys think about it?
Yeah, I mean, it may be a factor. I'm just sharing you an image. Can I just show it so that again another coincidence happens? So in the image,
I,
all the
I,
left hand side captains won the title in this image.
I don't want to go into this because there's also another theory that a captain with a less facial hair has always won it as well. So,
Yeah,
and I'm not
yeah,
displaying that today.
Okay,
yeah.
okay. So yeah, I mean, maybe you are true that sometimes losing a toss is also a good thing because we never know. Sometimes we take some decisions which will eventually kind of backfire after the game.
Yeah.
So let's see how it goes.
See, the thing is, guys, like even if you remember the 11 final, right? So it's like जैसे हम पैसे में inflation लेते हैं, so we need to take into account the run inflation, right? So 270 back then could be 320, 330 right now, right? In effectiveness. So back in the days, Sri Lanka scored 270. Now the point is that they did chase it down. We did chase it down, India, right? But the question here to be asked is ऐसा कोई फाइनल नहीं होता wherein you have to chase even a meager target and you'd go through it like sail through it very effectively, right? Like we
Oh,
lost
India were
Sachin
put
and
under
Sehwag.
pressure in that game, if you remember. India were 31 for
Exactly,
2.
exactly. तो अगर वो होता है, so any final you put up a decent score, that opportunity to kill the game then and there would come. like
Yeah.
bowling second,
Well,
because
I'll give a
there's
very
just
simple
that.
example from the last World Cup, Antariksh, when that
Exactly.
England was chasing 240 odd. If not for that ball reflecting off Ben Stokes' bat, New Zealand would have been a world champion. We would have been terming them at that.
Exactly. Exactly. So अब मैं शांत हो गया. ठीक है. We're getting to bat first. We put up. It's Ahmedabad. Gill 100 मारेगा. We'll get 300. We'll get 300. बाकी फिर शामी देखते हैं. So
Yeah,
let's
I
let's
think Shami
let's
under lights, Ahmedabad, he is waiting. He's
Bas.
really
Yes,
waiting.
yes, yes.
I
Give
think
him give
same
him
team.
that
We're going with the same team
mercy.
as Antariksh also gave a hint before. We're going with the same team, no changes. And
Yeah.
Australia also going with the same team. In my, I think, yeah, Australia also going with the same team. So
Yeah.
good match all in all. I think it's we are coming down to the. I expect Cam Green to play today ahead of Manus Labuschagne, but no, they've gone with Manus
Really?
Labuschagne.
अच्छा
Yeah,
नहीं खेल रहा, right? Oh, he's in.
naked.
Right, right.
So they've gone with Manus Labuschagne. I expected though because I thought
Hmm.
he's got a good record against India, and at the same time he's done well in Ahmedabad
No,
last
but
time
you
they
would
played.
want to have someone like a Labuschagne in a final, right? You're 20 for 2, तो थोड़ा थोड़ा नैया पार लगा
But
सकता है
you
ऐसे
tell
player.
me, in a 320 chase, would you have a Labuschagne?
Yeah, exactly. That's why I'm
Yeah,
happy.
it's
Labuschagne and Smith are there. मुझे कोई दिक्कत नहीं
I
है.
don't know. For some reason, I'm a little more confident. I was 51-49. Now I'm like 60-40. Like
Okay,
that is off. The pressure is off. Like we
nice,
all were
nice.
here. I mean, not a bad toss to lose. I wanted
Yeah,
India
yeah,
to lose the toss. Genuinely, I wanted India to lose the toss. Maybe for the first time
nice.
ever, I wanted India to lose the toss
And we
because I
got the
was very
bat
sure.
first as well.
Yeah, we got to bat first as well, and India wanted to bat first, so it's not a bad thing. Ultimately, I
Good.
think Pat mentioned that it was the dew which kept in mind that they wanted to chase. What if the dew doesn't come today, like Wankhede? That day dew did not come,
नहीं आएगी आज,
and
नहीं आएगी. It won't come. It won't come. We've sorted that out. Dew is uncontrollable,
uh,
not for us when the World
but I
Cup is
think
in
dew
India.
also doesn't play a big factor in a big ground like Ahmedabad. It's a big ground. In Wankhede, yes, you can say it's a high scoring ground. If you remember that Australia versus England game, you guys both saw that game. Australia scored 280, England was stopped at that. And it was not a big score at that day. Because of the bigger boundaries, they got those wickets. I think that's a big factor to really reckon with even in today's game. 280 was really made look like a 320 in that game.
Yeah, I mean, because that's the in which game you're talking about?
The Australia England game in Ahmedabad a couple of weeks ago,
Yeah,
the one which
yeah, right. So mainly in that game, to be honest, it was about the kind of mindset they have because India and England are always kind of a banter they have. So that was an kind of a factor as well. But in on the other hand, even though you have, to be honest, around 270 to 80, then you are already on the zone that you are going to win it because in those situations, in a rivalry game or in a knockouts game, it's never easy to chase down even 270 or 280, right? And this is the final. So again, if we manage to get around 270 to 80, to be honest, it will be good enough total or a winning total, to be honest.
Yeah, I agree with you because somewhere I feel now what India will have to do is to play out the phases. If India gets off to a good start, right? A nation breathes easy. You saw that Antariksh when Rohit Sharma gave us that start, there was a sigh of relief, like, oh, there's no 5 for 3 anymore,
Yeah,
right? I think that's been the key in this World Cup. When Rohit Sharma
yeah,
does well, we breathe easy.
yeah. 3-4 ओवर हो जाते हैं. And we have like 40-50. We know, okay, कोई 50 for 5 नहीं होने वाला. It's max. सबसे गंदा scenario is going to be 90 for 3, 90 for 4. ठीक. We don't want 20 for 4, 25, please. So yeah, just 4, 3, 4, 5 overs. Let's get that start. Let's ease that pressure and then let's take it on from there, right?
Yeah, I think that's about it from us. I mean, we've been here. We just few minutes away from that first ball being bowled. So, final predictions, guys. Are we getting the third star or not? Tell me
We
quickly,
are,
Shami.
we
Yeah, I
are,
mean,
we are, we are.
yeah,
बिल्कुल भाई बिल्कुल. We have to, like, there's no if and but. We'd be the first team, I think, to go undefeated, and
Yeah.
yeah, we'll be that. We'll be that.
Yeah, hopefully we can repeat it. And we are batting first. We're in for a cracker. We'll join you guys hopefully after the match to give us raw emotions and whatever works in our favor. Hopefully have a good game, all of you. I'm very nervous as well. I'm not getting words. Let's just go enjoy the match. And you can see in all of our faces right now. We're just nervous right now. I never had a live where I just had to extend it and we just have feeling that after the toss as well. I don't know what to talk at this point. I have a lot of
Yeah,
things behind my mind that I want to talk, but I'm like, now abhi kya karna, abhi kya karna. That's all.
थोड़ा, yeah.
All right, see you all and have a good game. Bye
Thank you
bye.
guys. Take
Yeah.
care and let's meet.